So chapter 6 we're dealing with circles, and first bit of chapter 6 we're looking at midpoints and perpendicular bisectors. So if we have two coordinates on a set of axes here, x-axis and y-axis, well, if you imagine the x-coordinate here is say 2 and the x-coordinate here is 8, then the x-coordinate of the midpoint of the line is going to be halfway along from 2 to 8, isn't it? Okay, so the x-coordinate of the midpoint of the line is going to be 5, and then the y-coordinate of the midpoint of the line, well, so let's say the y-coordinate here is, I don't know, 4, and the y-coordinate here is, I don't know, 10. So then halfway up from 4 to 10 has gone halfway from this height up to this height, so that's going to give us the y-coordinate midpoint, isn't it? So that's going to give us a y-coordinate of 7. So another situation where rather than thinking of a formula, x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2, just think of it as half the x distance, half the y distance will give you halfway along the line. And then in exercise 6a you apply that knowledge, so things like if AB is the diameter of the circle, well, the midpoint of the diameter is the centre of the circle, so we're going to use the midpoint to find the centre of the circle there. And there's various other applications in exercise 6a, but really it's not the hardest exercise that we've done, and it's probably only grade 5, 6 GCSE material. We need to make sure we've got it fresh in our heads for the rest of the chapter, but it's not too tricky. Perpendicular bisectors of a line segment. Well, we've seen in chapter 5 how to deal with perpendicular lines. So if I've got a line segment represented by 2 points, there's our line segment. If I can find the midpoint, then I've got the coordinates of the midpoint, right? So I know that. And then if I want a line which is perpendicular to the line, I can find the gradient between, let's call this point A and point B. I can find the gradient between A and B. That means that I can find the gradient of the perpendicular line, because I can use the fact that the two gradients times together to make -1, or -1 over 1 gradient gives me the other gradient. So we can find the gradient of this line, and we can find a point that it goes through. And we should know from chapter 5, if you can find the gradient and a point that a line goes through, that's all you need to know to find the equation of the line. So I can find the equation of a line which is the perpendicular bisector between 2 points. And again, as in example 3 and exercise 6b, they're expecting you to apply that in all sorts of different ways. But it's really just piecing together information that we've got from other parts of the book and from the GCSE syllabus. So that's the end of section 6.1, short video, but I'll leave it there and do another video for 6.2.